Hi guys, JT here, and today I'll be bringing you some information on the Humble Bundle Black Friday VR Voyagers Pack Bundle of November 2022. To help you answer the question, should you buy it? If you want to know more about game bundles, feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps the channel out. Anyway, let's get into this. At number 1 we have Cookout, a family-friendly cooperative cooking game. Cookout is pretty much overcooked, but in VR. This game is set entirely within the cook's cabin on a fairy tale forest. Creatures who are humanoid animals will come over to your cabin and order increasingly complicated sandwiches, and you have to prepare those orders on a carousel in the middle of your kitchen, and place them on a delivery platform when they are ready. Your customers range from mice, werewolves, cats, rabbits, and among others, each of their own appetites and tolerance to mistakes and time. As an example, mice orders are simple, werewolf orders are big due to their huge appetites, anything made for cats needs to be flawless because they think that they are the most perfect beings in the world, and rabbits are always in a rush so you won't have a lot of time to prepare their meal. The gameplay is fast, frantic, and will have you looking at orders, picking up the required ingredients, chopping them up with your cleaver, then placing them in the correct order on the correctly numbered plates. You rarely have all the ingredients that you need for incoming orders, so you have to rely on your other cook, Robot, to supply you with the ingredients, as long as you keep him charged by turning his crankshaft every few minutes. As you progress through the 50 levels across 18 towns, you'll earn power-ups and upgrades for your equipment. Power-ups like instantly making perfect sandwiches or slowing down time really helps when you have 5 impatient animal humanoids with 5 totally different orders who are more than willing to take their business elsewhere if you're not fast enough. You will also be tasked with grilling ingredients and washing dishes on top of your already hectic cooking. This game is most fun on multiplayer as you have to communicate with your teammate, swapping ingredients and making sure that sandwiches are done in time. It will really test your relationship as you scream at each other like in Hell's Kitchen, shouting for your f***ing beef pen. If you like a hectic but fun family-friendly cooking game, then look no further than Cookout. At number 2 we have Acron, Attack of the Squirrels, a multiplayer VR game involving trees and squirrels. As opposed to having multiple VR kits, the multiplayer portion of this game requires only one player to have a VR kit, while the other 2 to 8 players could play the game on their mobile devices. The person with the VR kit plays a tree, and the tree needs to guard 4 golden acorns at its feet. Other players have to download an app on their mobile devices to play the squirrels, trying to steal these acorns. Rounds are short, only lasting a few minutes, and can get quite hectic. As a tree, you'll have access to a few weapons to murder those thieving squirrels. You could use your Grunt-like hands to grab the squirrels and throw them far away, instantly killing them upon impact, or use your projectile weapons. The first one is a small ball of wood which you can chuck at squirrels. The second is a boulder that can explode when you throw something else at it, and the third is a green slime that you can squirt all over the floor to slow the squirrels down. Combining these tools is essential in guarding your nuts. As a squirrel, you'll have 4 types of squirrels to choose from, each of their own playstyles. Red squirrels are fast, marmots are slow but can employ a portable shield, ground squirrels can dig tunnels and travel underground, while chipmunks can build ramps and bridges to cross over water and lava. The levels in this game will provide some varied environmental factors that will alter game mechanics, like water, lava, and cliffs. Acron, Attack of the Squirrels is a lot of fun when played in groups, and it is a perfect party game that you can play with friends and family. And best of all, you only need one VR kit. In number 3 we have Until You Fall, an arcade-inspired VR hack-and-slash roguelike. You play as an unnamed swordsman, brought back to life repeatedly to fight big-ass knights and monsters, earning you more in-game currency each time to gradually upgrade your weapons. You can power up your weapons by slotting in upgrades into the upgrade slots. You can also charge up your super attack through repeated use. You have access to a limited dash function to get around that doubles as a sneak attack. Once you get up close and personal to an enemy, on-screen prompts will indicate where you need to raise your weapons to block. Blocking attacks will weaken your enemy's defense meter. The swordplay could feel overly busy at times due to the different on-screen prompts and meters. After the last enemy is defeated in an area, you get to choose between 3 random upgrades. These upgrades can build your health or provide temporary damage boosts or status effects. For permanent upgrades, you'll need to grind through the game by collecting and spending ether. Grinding will take a long time before you're ready to take on the game's more challenging fights. It can feel like a slog at times, but the weapon variety and random upgrades makes each playthrough feel slightly different. This game is great if you like making incremental progress after each playthrough, and especially if you like slashing at things with your virtual sword. At number 4 we have The Wizards, Dark Times, a narrative-driven adventure game that offers the use of magic and spells rather than guns. This game is actually a sequel to the 2017 game The Wizards. You once again play as a wizard in a fantasy world known as Meliora, continuing your journey from the first game. You are once again accompanied by a dryly sarcastic narrator, Aurelius. You do not need to play the first game to figure out what is going on. In fact, here's a summary. There is evil magic in the world, and you need to stop it. That's it. The plot goes only slightly deeper than that, so you aren't missing out on much. The gameplay loop is as follows. You are treated with a bit of dialogue which will lead you to either a light puzzle or a combat set piece. Where there is variety is how the game gives you a reason to switch up your playstyle. Like in one level it is constantly raining, so you can't use your fireball spell, or another level that forces you to play one-handed, limiting the type of spells that you can use. It's a fun way to add a little bit of variety. You will learn 11 spells throughout the game, and these ranges from summoning magical weapons to fireballs and lightning blasts. There are 6 core spells that can be triggered by their unique gestures and an additional 5 empowered versions of the core elements. The gestures are very fun to use and the spells are different enough in range, damage and effect to make them all useful in different situations. In a way, it does make you feel like Doctor Strange from the Marvel comic books. The developers are constantly updating this game and you can expect a multiplayer mode coming soon that will have 3 mages, Frost, Fire and Storm, hurling magic spells at waves of enemies and completing objectives before fighting a boss. It is definitely worth watching out for. And number 5 we have Sairento VR. A VR cyber ninja simulator that requires planning and precise execution. You play as a member of the Silent Ones, a righteous but covert organization of seemingly ordinary people who practice the long-forsaken code and martial arts of the ancient samurais and ninjas. This game features 8 unique enemies and a handful of maps. There is significant emphasis on speed, but the levels confine the players. If you really want to be a ninja, you can in this game, by being really stealthy. Or you can just go in guns blazing, and it's so difficult to hold yourself back when you can double jump across the map. This game is fun, shaking your hand around to maximize damage with a sword, and mowing down waves of enemies. There's only one boss though, and fighting him can be a bit of a chore. The movement in this game is awesome, and it really makes you want to move fast in maps designed for such movements as sliding and wall bouncing. It just feels great. Running and sliding to an enemy only to cut him in half with your sword and shooting him endlessly with a machine pistol, watching blood burst out of him, then moving to another enemy and repeating. Even though it can be repetitive at times, the physicality of your movements in this game is great and you'll find it one of the most pleasurable flow states in VR. And number 6 we have Superhot VR. A first-person shooter with an interesting time movement mechanic. Time only moves when you move your body. This shifts the genre from an action game to more of a puzzle game. The story of this game is very minimalistic. In between levels, you'll find yourself in a small apartment with computers that you're playing the Superhot game on. Your apartment changes over time, but only very subtly. Most of the storytelling comes from observation of items in the environment and you filling in the gap, creating a mysterious atmosphere. Back to the gameplay. In each level, you need to figure out how to defeat all enemies without getting hit. This will involve dodging bullets, throwing objects, catching dropped weapons from enemies, and shooting them in the face. If you move at full speed, the action can get quite crazy, but since you can control time with movements, you can take your time to plan it out before going full-on Rambo on everybody. You really feel like a star in an action film. Imagine dodging bullets Matrix style, then throwing ninja stars at a nearby enemy, catching his pistol, then quickly turning around and firing at another enemy behind you. If that doesn't make you feel like an action movie star, I don't know what else will. The main campaign is very short, clocking in about 2 hours. But after the main campaign, several new modes are unlocked and they're all addictive and add much extra value to the game. These modes include speedrun, endless, headshot only, survival mode, hardcore mode where the game moves more quickly, and a guest mode to let other players play the game without saving progress. If you want to feel like a star in an action movie, dodging bullets while shooting enemies in the face, then Superhot VR comes highly recommended. And number 7 we have Car Mechanic Simulator VR. A simulator game that lets you experience what it's like to fix cars. You'll be doing everything from ordering parts, raising and lowering cars on your lift, removing nuts using your electric drill, etc, etc. Basically, what you see your mechanic do to your car, you get to do that, but in a virtual world with no actual license nor experience to handle cars. Your tablet will show you your jobs, and upon accepting a job, you will be ordering parts required to fix the car. These parts will arrive to you instantly, so you can get to working on the car without delay. Depending on what you need to do, you may need to get the car onto the lift, so you can work on things at eye height. In addition to fixing cars, you can upgrade your garage and even move on to other aspects of the game like buying and flipping cars for a profit. This game may not be for everyone, especially those who are accustomed to fast-paced VR action with quick gratification. This game is more for ones who like an easy-going simulator, wanting to repair cars and upgrade their workshop to be the best mechanic in town. And number 8 we have I Expect You to Die, an escape room puzzle game. You play as an unnamed secret agent, trying to thwart the nefarious plans of your arch-villain, Dr. Zor. His plan naturally includes multiple doomsday devices. Of course! This game is a total of 6 scenarios with a classic James Bond spy setup, like driving a car out of a plane or infiltrating a chemical lab. A chief handler with a British accent will guide you through these missions, occasionally teasing you on the simplicity of each mission and promise of a well-deserved vacation after your mission, just like Q from the films. You'll be sitting all the time in this game, not having the opportunity to actually explore your environment. However, there's a lot that you can interact with, like hidden compartments holding guns and cash, and finding vital clues and decorations. Interactive items will turn your reticle blue, so you're never left wondering if something can be interacted with or not. Unlike James Bond, you have access to psychic powers that allow you to grab items from a distance to inspect, so you're a James Bond but with psychic powers. There are plenty of callbacks to Bond films like the stuffed deer head that spews toxic gas or the ever-popular deadly trapdoor beneath boardroom seats. You never see the game's villain in person, but dialogue delivered through recordings, phones, and intercoms will give you a vivid mental picture of the type of baddie that you're dealing with. Solving each scenario will see you sweating as mistakes can easily kill you, and you don't have the convenience of plot armor. Especially when you have been meticulously setting the solution up over the past few minutes, wondering if your solution will work as the next button that you press could spell your doom. This game could definitely use more features, more gunplay, more levels, and more scenarios. However, if you want to feel like you are Bond in trouble in a movie and you have to puzzle your way out, this game could be for you. And number 9 we have Shooty Fruity, a multitasking shooter, blending in Fruit Ninja and Job Simulator. You have just started at Megamart, and you're given a series of retail-related tasks. Only in this company, you're also given industrial standard issue weaponry and power-ups. Being a newbie, you first started as a cashier at the mart, scanning and sorting items as they arrive. Unlike most cashiers, you have to fend off waves of demented fruits all wanting to destroy your cash register. Performing your retail-related duties will grant you progress through the diverse weaponry to equip. You start out with a pistol with more weapons to unlock. These unlocked weapons will then be hung on a rack for you to rotate your weapons on, as your weapons do degrade quite quickly with use. To defend yourself as effective as possible, you'll need to determine which guns work best against which fruit, and only use your power-ups when they are required. With so many products to deal with in the retail side of things, do expect some pop culture references. Shooting fruits is very satisfying as you watch their juices splatter everywhere when you put holes through them at close range. Unique attack patterns, varied facial animations, and movement styles give the fruits their own unique personalities. There are even silly fruit voices and supermarket jingles to remind you of the time when going to the mall was a thing. In addition to the campaign, you can aim for high scores on the leaderboards and challenges. Challenges will take you hours, and the points from them will go towards feeding your leaderboard score. These points will also become funds to spend on weapons. You'll have access to 18 different weapons, and 6 weapon slots, giving you a ton of options to customize your loadout for each level to murder marauding fruits with. This game can be surprisingly challenging, especially as you progress through the levels. So if you enjoy a good challenge, love watching your name climb the leaderboards, or just simply hate vegetables altogether, then this game could be for you. And number 10 we have The Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets, a puzzle game. There exist 2 sisters, one who loves magic and the other who loves pets. The 2 sisters eventually grew apart as they grew up due to their differences. Saddened by this, their loving grandfather tasks you to explore a series of dream dioramas, solving miniature puzzles to find all of their missing pets and reunite the sisters. Curious Tale offers a pleasant introduction to playing in VR with a charming aesthetic and a steady pace of simple puzzles to solve. There isn't any fast-paced action in this game, so you won't be swinging your VR sticks around. Instead, you're presented with miniature 3D scenes like a hillside cottage or a snowy ski chalet. You can spin them around like an interactive dollhouse, open doors, and watch tiny figures skip around on their own. There are 5 levels in this game, each of its own unique charm. They are filled with lovely details like waterfalls and leafy greens, and it is clear that each model was designed with much care. To find the hidden pets, you'll be pressing buttons, lighting fires, and discovering hidden keys. You can also pick up a tool like a brush or a hairdryer to interact with the scene. Creatures in this game are cute and tiny, looking like something straight out of a children's storybook. The puzzles are a breeze to finish, and the game won't last you very long, approximately an hour. Once you're done, you can go back to collect all hidden coins, but since nothing much changes, there's little motivation to do so. This game is perfect if you want to introduce children to VR, but if you're looking for a deep story, a longer adventure with more hidden surprises, then you will be disappointed. If, however, you like a short, relaxing distraction from your time popping heads off or pulling vertebrae out of bodies, this could be something for you. And number 11 we have A Fisherman's Tale, a mind-bending puzzle adventure game where being turned upside down and inside out isn't merely a play on words. You play as Bob, a tiny fisherman puppet living alone in your tiny cabin. Your radio starts broadcasting a storm alert and you have to get to the top of the lighthouse to turn on the light. But it seems like you're being pulled on a string, while you're pulling the strings in your own smaller lighthouse in your world. Who is pulling the strings while being pulled by strings around here? Ugh! This game features 4 chapters to play through, and throughout the 4 chapters, you'll be solving puzzles using the game's large and small mechanic. An example of this is when you need a boat to steer into sea. You have to actually assemble a model boat first, then use that boat to make a boat that is your size to appear. Confusing, I know, but you will get a hang of the concept after a while. A gentle voiceover narration will help you with the environment and the puzzles, so you aren't feeling like you're at loss at what to do. The voice will provide you ample of clues, leaving little downtime to scratch your wooden puppet head. If you do get stuck, some trial and error should alleviate the problem. The narrative in this game is also quite interesting, and will make you question who is the puller and who is the pulley. This game is quite short though, and you should finish it in about an hour. Once you're done, there's little reason to go back. This game really needs more levels, more puzzles, and an expanded story as to what's going on in this world. If you don't mind its short playtime, value artistry, and original puzzle design, I would recommend giving this game a try. And that's all for this bundle. This bundle is great if you like VR games. There's plenty of variety in terms of what you can do in VR that is available in this bundle. If, however, you do not own a VR gear, then there's no point in you getting this bundle. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.